Good evening and welcome, Free Enterprise fans, to the final match of the round of 64 of our brackets of our Highway to the Zemus Zone round 4. My name is Dathis. I'm joined by FF4FE and we have ourselves a lovely Yang start for FF4FE and elvensorrow's match. How you doing this evening, Oscar?
You know, I love giving you lots of Hectathis, and I didn't realize we hopped into a time machine because you just said Highway to the Zemus Zone, and I will not let you get past that.
Did I say I meant Highway to the Zemus Zone, Zemus Zone? We were talking about some past seeds earlier. That's where my mind is, I feel. Thank you for keeping me in that time machine. But yes, we are in fact here in Highway to the Zemus Zone 4. No, 3. I said Zemus, not 3. But again, thank you very much for joining me in the comms booth. We also have Psychonaut and Scythe Marshall rocking the restream and tracking respectively, hopefully keeping us in line and making sure everything's lit up and protecting things from... I see Possum Morpheus in the chat. No possum's allowed to touch the buttons tonight.
Yeah, no, that's definitely no buttons over there. But looking at, I will say, first off, we do have a Punch Mage, so we have a Yang start. Enjoy your Thunderclaw hunting. But looking at those objectives, so you have Objective 4, which is defeat the freest of the free. And then you have Objective 5, which just can be funny. Absolutely funny.
That is very true. I think this is the first time I've seen a free boss as one of the required, and Launch the Falcon, so Hook Route might not be required in how we get underground, but it might also be required in how we do things tonight. But I'm really curious. Our runners look like they're very super excited. And with both of them up on the main screen, looks like they're actually just ready about to go to see who we've got paired with Yang today. Who are we hoping to see today, Oscar? Who do you think?
I like Rude, so I like to see Eddie or just not a white mage. How about you?
Kind of agree. A white mage is one of those luxury things you kind of hope and get. Hey, maybe we'll find one later. But we do get my boy, my favorite of the betrayal, with some leg or quarter leg, giving us a pass. Darkness Crystal, possibly not required this seed, but we do have a nice pairing in Kane. He wields a very wide array of weapons, but he does require a lot of those weapons to be more powerful. Whereas Yang, he gets a lot of his power from levels.
Yeah, this is this is like the Johnny Cage level of patently average comps. So I think our runners are just kind of looking at this going, there's potential, but that's going to take a while to get to. So I wouldn't be surprised if our runners decide to start looking for some good gear. A Thunderclaw for sure, Cat Claws maybe, and just anything for Kane. Any good armor so he can take a punch or two.
Yeah, and the really nice thing about Kane weapon-wise is that he's got so many different options. You've got daggers that he can work with, he's got swords, he's got axes, and then he's got his titular spears. So there's so much things. Speaking of a lot of things, we have some divergence going on. We have Fleury going through Watery Pass, and we have elvensorrow going through Evelyn, both really high priority places, coming up fairly decently on... Oh, monster check right there. You don't hate to see that right off the bat.
But you really do like to see that Leviathan summon over on Fleury's side. I mean, Watery Pass has been coming up. It's literally been coming up Millhouse. You've got, there was, I think, a Samurai Bow and Odin that can be sold for some cash. The Leviathan summon for, hopefully, a character that doesn't exist with a seed. That's a great first room for Fleury.
Whereas Elvin on the other side has picked up some good stuff for pretty much everyone. Rune Ring for Yang so he can tank some mages. There's a Poison Claw, as well as we have a Dragoon Spear. Dragoon Shield. So we've got some fairly average to good armor on Elvin's side with a decent claw for Yang. So okay so far. A Blizzard Spear for Kane on Fleury's side kind of just really shoots that Kane up in priority.
Yeah, that's gonna... I wouldn't be surprised. Ooh, that is a nice Dwarf Axe on Elvin's side.
And an Elven Bow on Fleury.
So yeah, it looks like these checks are starting to come out pretty good. There was a Bacchus Wine, some Mute Arrows on Elvin's side. I mean, this is going to open up a lot of checks. And Fleury getting the gear out of Watery Pass, saying, you know what, I'm good right now. Let's go check out Hobbs, see if we can get another character.
And a Rune Axe and some Mute Arrows also on elvensorrow's side from the two top areas. That middle area is very stacked gear-wise. We have a Blizzard Spear, we have a Rune Axe. So one way or the other, if that is leg or quarter leg, we have no problem dealing with that. There's your healer. You want to fight Valvalis for it? I would say 100% yes.
Especially with a cane. I mean, Cane is a bouncy boy, and bouncy boys are like super effective against bikini tornadoes. They use very official terms in the last game of round of 64 stuff.
Ooh, we have some vanilla over on Elvensorrow's side too, though.
Oh boy, here comes the vanilla again. So only for Dathis.
Look, I'm here for one of two things: vanilla and Kane, and both are here.
I'm just here because this is my contract required time out of the restream booth.
I mean, that is very true. It's very nice to see a fellow restreamer outside of the booth. Yang does go down on Fleury's side, but that's okay because he being our hero means that he's still going to get experience anyways. We have ourselves a Porum who gets Kira 2, and we have ourselves some okay levels already. Looks like we get a little bit of a Waluda back pass. Nope, just the second chest. Headband, really good to see for some more physical attack on Fleury's side.
Yeah, of all the things that could have been in the chest, that's not a bad one to find, especially because not everybody looks at that particular chest. I usually, if you have like a Tella or any way to just boop right on out of there, cool, fine, sure, but not so much there. But looks like Fleury is going to be heading to Antlion Cave, checking out it and actually doing some looting. That silent staff, though, I know it's not the best staff, but silent staff and I, especially on a Porum, we're like BFFs. Because I call the silent staff on Porum the Z killer because she's really good at getting Z kills with that staff.
That's fantastic. And the nice thing is that means that two of the characters have decent ways of bonking out some mages without having to worry about some resources. So we find a mage in an early area, both Porum and Kane can take care of them. So not really a bad thing to be given to you so early. Sylph Summon also from that there in Antlion. We find Iridia, she's kind of stacked up for summons through pretty much the entirety of the game, really.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is, say you find the mustache that shall not be named. It brings up an interesting point. It's like, Rydia is great early when you have things like the Leviathan, like Sylph. Odin can take or leave, but Rydia's EXP gaming sucks. It's bad, y'all. And unless you can really slingshot her to nuke, it's not necessarily the most worth it. So yeah, I'm curious if we do find Iridia early, what's going to be the plan with her? Are we just going to actually use her for that Leviathan advantage, or maybe potentially try to set up a slingshot with her if the situation calls for it?
Very true. And Fleury finding probably two things. One, the nicest piece of armor you're going to find for dealing with agility shenanigans in the Cursed Ring, and finding an extremely easy boss with the dolls where he can either throw that big bomb or use the blizzard as an item to cast ice to lower magic power. But if he just wants to move through it, yeah, one bomb toss, we're out of here. And we're going to get our first official key item check as Elvensorrow gets through this Valvalis fight.
Yeah, and with that, well, there we go. We do have underground access, not the required one with Launch the Falcon, or potentially required one with Launch the Falcon, but thankfully we didn't see Fleury playing with his dolls again, so he was able to get through that very quickly. And I wouldn't be surprised if he just went underground right now to set up a couple things.
Oh yeah, there's so much that opens up. You have yourself another key item check in the freest of check, which is the we have a back of the Hobbs looting though. Headband, fire rod, not some bad stuff there. I'm okay with that. But yeah, you have the summon monsters check. Maybe we're gonna find a demist or a required wyvern there, maybe, or King Queen Eblin. Then you also get Sheila 1. There's so much that opens up with the underground.
And because I don't know how to commentate, and wasn't paying attention to both screens at once. Our wonderful tracker, Scythe Marshall, did mention a cursed ring. So I'm guessing it was on Elven's side because I was looking at Fleury's stream when it was said.
It was actually on Fleury's side. It was the Antlion Cave. It was the Antlion Cave chest.
I'm out. Bye.
Right before.
Bye.
Look, you're used to making sure nothing's on fire. Asuka, it's okay. Get back here. We need you. But yeah, the cursed ring, again, really great for doing agility shenanigans, making sure that everything's manipulated properly so you can have some battle speeds in the underground, making it a lot easier. Whereas Elvensorrow is like, you know what, going through a very respectable way, kind of like the vanilla progression, we went and we're doing some looting. Now we're going to be checking out Fabul. So this is a good check here.
Well, it's with the knowledge that Elvin has. Yes, that is a really good check. With the knowledge that we have, not quite as good unless it's like Darkness Crystal or something else that might be required early. Because that Magma Key sets up a potential singled up Fabul of going to Fabul, bonking Yang with the pan, and getting Vol Sheila 1 and Sheila 2 all at the same time. So with Elvin doing this right now, that is, unless the pan is here, and it would be funny because I always love seeing pan at this spot, not necessarily the best for routing, but it's not the wrong answer with the knowledge. I don't know. The phrasing's hard, and that's whatever.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing. It's no decision is the wrong decision. It's just the best decision with the time at hand. And yeah, Fleury finding that monster chest right off the hop, meaning he can loot the rest of this place as he so chooses. We have one of mine and your favorite items, though.
Check the heart. Check the heart.
We have ourselves the twin harp. That is one of my favorite things. Also, not required, but we do love ourselves some music here. And an ice claw, honestly, on Fleury's looting. Yang's getting some good artillery.
Yeah, the diversity in the claws and the elemental weaknesses that Yang can hit is great as long as you have the claws to get those elemental weaknesses. So yeah, just every single subsequent claw that he gets is just going to make him a little bit stronger of a punch mage.
Indeed, and checking, we have a Sylph inside of Fabul there, but we already have Sylph at home, so we don't need more of those. The looting down here in the Land of Summoned Monsters, honestly, kind of average. The best thing, honestly, being that Ice Claw so far. A lot of great bows, a lot of ice arrows, nothing really of substance, and crystal armor. So a big zonk there, but a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, what's funny is I think there was at least 1 or 2 pieces of crystal armor on Elvin's side when they checked Castle Labyrinth. So it's like, cool, a piece of armor that I'm gonna sell for money. Woo!
Yeah, this seed is just absolutely loaded cash-wise. Some decent armor too. Charm Rod and Sorcerer body piece, good for the mages. We have one mage. She unfortunately cannot use rods, but can't argue with that. And we're going to be getting a nice little bit of divergence with elvensorrow going right up ordeals, which I like this. This is a fight that Yang is going to be doing on his own, but and he's got some okay gear to get him through it.
Agreed. And with the fact that we have not 1 but 2 boss hunts, it's 3 normally not too bad boss hunts, or 3 boss fights they can tackle on. That's cute. Fleury found a sparkle, so we'll see what kind of sparkle we have here. And
just an Ogo, not bad. See, it's more funny when it's on the other side with required in the Sur, because that is a very fast spot. Ogopogo, not bad to see out of the pool. A little sad. You have more physical fighters, so it's okay. We do have more vanilla on this side. I'm here for this vanilla Mylon. This is great.
This isn't vanilla, but I will have you know, Dathus, that I'm currently eating white chocolate Reese's peanut butter cups.
That is as close as we're going to get to some vanilla from this, and I'm okay with that. Making good use of the J items. Firebomb does bonus damage to Mylon's little ghasts. They're gone. He's like, go, my children. But where'd you all go?
Well, they went down into the Hades, apparently.
No, he's going to drag them all down there after in the next fight.
Oh, jeez. Sigh.
But yeah, that Fire Claw, Poison Claw combo going to do some okay damage against Mylon. Kane jumping, probably another hit, and we'll be good. Or, yep, one more hit, probably do it. We got some lucky 7s.
Right.
Whereas Fleur is doing what you were mentioning and setting up one of the checks to knock out Fabul in hopefully 1 round.
Yeah, the only annoying thing is when you don't have the pan. This particular route through the Sylph Cave does get a little annoying because you have to go all the way back and do it again, which is not fun, but it is what it is. But it's a really quick way to get, well, in this case, 2 key items, potentially 2 key items with the best check that they should never fade, which is Twin Harp, and whatever Sheila has.
And hopefully Sheila does in fact have the goods today. She's been known to harbor a decent amount of the items. And just as a little bit, oh, that's a blue robe. Just a water
Oh,
hag. Okay, this is not bad. That means that
I'd
all gauntlet's
rather.
still on the table.
Yeah, I mean, back attack, alt gauntlet, real talk is funny, but I don't know. I like seeing pain. I know Deathis, you like seeing pain, so an alt gauntlet at like some other place would be fantastic.
So the chat mentioning room alt gauntlet, I agree because that's Kane on his own, and those are some rough fights to be doing. He does have fire claws, that is good. Also, welcome to our raiders from RPG Limit Break.
And the
And the
RPG
RPG
Valkyries.
Valkyries. Wow, thank you guys very much. Those coming from RPG LB, if you've come from a race, no spoilers. We are just getting underway. We are very quick. Oscar, if you'd like to give them a quick recap of how we got here.
We sat down at our computers. We booted up our. Pretty much, we started off with a Yang hero. So Yang, if you don't know, with the Sea Hero flag, cannot leave the party. Yang's going to be fighting this Crystal Altar alone, which will stand up on the Elvensorrow side in the near future. It was a Yang Kane start. We have the pass. Magma Key was found in Antlion Cave, and the Twin Harp was found in Fabul. So now we're here, and we also have a White Mage. Ta-da! The end.
Wonderful. 10 out of 10, we'll listen to that story again. So we do have Elvensorrow jumping in to do a solo fight. Fleury getting a lucky stone proc from the Medusa arrows is going to be getting himself a Twin Harp when we are given a package. So that's another character check and possible boss check. And probably the nicest fight for most, but a little rude for Edge in the CPU.
Yeah, the problem with Yang is you have to essentially glitch him in the back row, and we don't have that ability to do so. So Yang will pretty much, unless he straight yellows it, which he won't, will be doing less damage to the big CPU ball in the back. Also, shout out to Sheila having some goods in the form of the Luca key with the Sheila 1 check.
Very nice find. Might be required to find one of our other key items. This Yang gonna be doing some decent shots to this CPU. Again, doing basically his regular punches from being in the back row, attacking the back row, and with the power hit, hoping for some good shots. The misses don't help, but he's got enough Cure 2s that Elvensorrow is not going to be really challenged at this location. We're going to be in for a little bit of a fight with Fleury doing some shopping in Silvara, actually.
Interesting. Fleury might just not be happy with what he currently has with this party. Definitely checking the free chests because, well, ooh, that was. So Fleury just came up Millhouse with that wonderful, Thunderclaw find in the background. There was a lot of PHs and Fs right there. One of my dogs agrees, but that's going to be huge for Fleury to find. Thunderclaw can do some massive damage on very specifically annoying bosses. Here's looking at you, Kanatsu and Odin.
Yeah, and we haven't seen them out in the wild yet. They could be very rough. Also, Cure 3 is a great pickup. Not going to be necessary for this fight coming up, but could be very beneficial if Yang has to play chemist duty later on. Because again, he's going to gain all this experience, so he's going to get some high levels. So he might end up doing that later on in the Z fight. We'll see what we get. But generally, all in all, not bad. Fleury, continuing shopping percent, though, decides, hey, I'm here, I've got money. Let's do that before we do some more key items. Just yet another Silph. That's 2 shops in the overworld that has had Silph for sale.
I approve of this garbage. And if you want to know who gave us this wonderful garbage, I'm going to take this opportunity to segue into giving a shout out to our wonderful behind the scenes team. Dathis and I, we don't know what to do if we don't have these people, wonderful people behind us. We have Psychonaut, who's doing the restreaming and rolled this wonderful fire, like Evil Wall talking to a duplicate Kane. And then our tracker, Scythe Marshall, who gets to push all the buttons and make them light up and look pretty. And of course, a shout out to our runners themselves, FF4FE, elvensorrow. They're really good. You should give likes, loves, and follows to all of them. And the ever wonderful king of Vanillamus himself, Dathis, because Dathis is good people. So follow him.
Thank you very much, Oscar. And also give Oscar a follow to the Queen of the Corgos, the Pink Puff lady herself, who keeps the league running and has brought in new runners from all over. Give her a follow as well. But while we were giving a little shout out to the team that we have running behind the scenes, we also have another Sparkle, only D-Lunars, and I mean that in a nice way, meaning we found a couple of our Sparkles out of the way, and we're just getting closer and closer to only needing that Wyvern somewhere.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty much Plague, Haildim, Wyvern, really, I think.
Exactly. And elvensorrow actually didn't even have that Fire Claw equipped, so that's why his Yang wasn't doing as much damage, but you're about to watch a very good bonk come out right now.
I'm excited. I'm
Should
mildly
probably be
disappointed.
at least 800. 700. Not too bad.
You know, if this was Price is Right, you would lose and I would win all of your winnings because I would have said $1.
I mean, very true. So you would have won the Showcase Showdown, and that would have been fun. But we do have one D-Lunar down, the other one gonna follow shortly after, while we have Mylon's a little dance party knocked out, and Kane doing jumpy things.
And I'll admit, this Evil Wall into D-Lunar combo, I would be, if I was doing this, we're running the scene, I would be so happy to see them here. Because Evil Wall and D-Lunar can be exceptionally rude in certain spots. So anytime I can get them out of the way in relatively easy areas is makes me very happy. It's probably not making elvensorrow very happy right now because that
actually gets to the end of the script with the breath. So yeah, gonna eat a reset. Not the worst. Can either come back and do this fight later because it's only right now a dupe Kane as far as we know. Might be looking for some more items. And I don't disagree. The gear we have is pretty medium. A little bit more offensive gear, or might even be looking for a cheeky vanilla demist. With the amount of vanilla we've seen, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, mind you, Elven has not gone to Antlion yet. I just want to point that out. Oh, okay. There are two checks that I always love checking, and I don't like seeing that tell it because that's foreshadowing I don't like. I always love checking Harp, and I always love checking Package. That edge has the potential to be massive for Elven.
Yeah, so the really nice additional thing is not only is it we have a very powerful character in Edge, he also has the ability to come with flames, so it's going to make those D-Lunars an absolute joke of a fight now. But additionally, he can also equip claws if he didn't have the MP, meaning we could take one of the Yang's claws, put it on him, and both of them are just now absolutely destroying those D-Lunars right there.
Yeah, I mean, having an Edge in your party pretty much, nothing on the overworld scares you anymore. He comes a pretty decently leveled, decent gear to start off with. Edge, the downside to Edge late game is he is very gear dependent, particularly on the swords he has. But that being said, yeah, I would, if I was Elven, I would see this through 100% and then just destroy everything that is currently attached to the overworld.
Absolutely. With an edge given to you, especially 20 minutes in, and you're only running 3 characters right now, there's zero reason to not see this all the way through. The worst part would be maybe a fight that takes a little bit longer, but there's no fight here at Kaipo that's going to be worse than anything, really. Maybe Golbez?
Gauntlet.
Yeah, but that gauntlet is worth getting that edge for, in my opinion, because everything can go down real quick. Especially with, I believe, elvensorrow found the Blizzard Spear, so he can just ice to his way to victory.
Oh! Please be
Wyvern. This is one of 3.
Please be Wyvern. Please be Wyvern. Oh,
nope. No! 50-50 shot. Our next Sparkle.
No. Oh no! My hopes and dreams have been ruined.
So not a hard required package, but I mean, hey, we still do have that Twin Harp that you're hoping has some value. We might see that later.
And the Fleury... go on.
No, after you.
Aw, thanks. Canadian nice people. Dathis is proof of this. But the other thing that was mentioned in chat is Edge opens up one of the 2 main grind options. If you see the mustache that shall not be named, that is rhymes with fella. He gets weak. If you have a black mage like a Rydia or a Hallam that has weak, you can use those to do D-money grinds. You can do Mac Giant grinds. You have Darkness Crystals. Or if you have an edge, you can steal sirens and just crack eggs to your heart's content. And, Dathis, do you want to explain why having Porum specifically with an edge is an awesome thing all of a sudden?
So the nice thing of having Porum in your party is that for some reason, this game is coded absolutely fantastically. By the way, there's nothing bad I want to say about it. However, there's one nice little caveat to. Actually, I didn't even see the Sand Ruby character.
That is a Tella.
Well, so we see a Sand Ruby. Everyone knows where we're going after that. But what what Porum does is with Cry is it sets the opponent's magic defense to, I believe, 0, or it just sets it down low. And the way Steel works is it's based off Edge's agility as well as the enemy's magic defense for some reason. Don't ask me, I didn't code this. So with Porum and Edge, you have a higher chance of stealing items from enemies.
Were you alive when they coded this?
Look, yes.
Are you sure about that? Exactly my point.
Yeah, the game, there may be just a few little weird interactions, but the way, again, Cry plus Edge equals just a good time regardless.
Now, think about the Sand Ruby and knowing that now knowing that Tella is in the seed, there is the massive debate of what's faster, Tella and doing that grind, or Edge and stealing sirens and doing that other grind. And it's very situational. I'm not really sure what would be the best option. I think the later in the game that, as long as there's no other Tella in the seed, the later that you find the Sand Ruby, the less likely that Tella will be worth it, and you just do an Edge grind and call it a day. But if like the next key item is a Sand Ruby, then well, Bob's your uncle. I don't know what our runners are going to do. That's why they have qualified for this tournament, and they'll know what to do.
Yeah, they run the tournament. We're just here to make sure everything happens, that we can show off all these lovely races. Again, as we were saying, this is the last of the round of 64. We are going to be getting to the 32, which is going to be absolutely hype. Speaking of hype, Fleury getting himself his ninja, Elven getting himself that Magna Key, and says, you know what, I could go underground, or there's a little bit of a fight I want some revenge on, and I've got two people that are going to say good morning to that.
Right. And I don't think Fleury's done this check yet, so we'll get to see what key item is back here. I really would love to see a harp check, y'all. Just saying.
I am really hoping that the harp is the hook, which leads to King Queen Evelyn in the vanilla spot or in the Rubicante spot. That would just be a pretty chef's kiss, in my opinion, because we know a lot of the runners. Again, the quote meta of this race has kind of like bounced and shifted around. Like we have things like, okay, this is where you generally do your looting. This is how you generally do your pathing. But there's some things that people have kind of like unspokenly agreed on, and it seems that like baiting harp is one of the big ones. Trying to route in Fabul has just always been one of those things, and it seems that the ordeals check has fallen back into favor. It had fallen out for a little bit if you didn't have a Tella or a Cecil.
Yeah, and I think with just how prevalent Tella has become in this flag set, I think there's like a 67-ish plus or minus a whole bunch of percent chance that Tella's going to be in the seed no matter what. I could absolutely see how ordeals has suddenly become a hot check, even if you don't have that Cecil, even if you don't have that Tella, because chances are you are going to find one of them, if not both. And yeah, without doing ordeals, Tella doesn't get access to his weak spell, and he can't really do a demon or a D machine grind that quickly.
Very true, very true. So we do get ourselves through Baron Inn, and we are rewarded with just an Hourglass 2. I say just, but that is very good for if we have a free boss in a very rough location. So that means that Underground or Harp is where our current progression is lying, or a very cheeky Demus sighting out in Zot.
That's true. I am a sucker for the harp check, as always, so yeah, I'm just gonna say that and stick to my guns.
Very, very true. So the nice thing is we are getting a fair amount of key items. We've got a total of 4 right now. Gonna get closer to where XP is gonna be a little bit nicer. Both runners doing a little bit of item organization. The real question is how long until Alvin goes underground versus saying, you know what, maybe I'll just clean up the overworld beforehand.
And again, that goes back to that edge. It's so tempting just to blow up everything. And of course, Elvin proving myself wrong by just saying, you know what, we're gonna go to Agart and we're probably gonna do a little bit of shopping, and then we're just gonna go underground and blow up things there instead. Heck.
Just bought some Ether 2s, find some Ether 1s in Odin for sale. Still looking around for some different stuff. I kind of don't disagree with this. With this edge, you're kind of looking and finding a Charm Claw and Mute Arrows. Actually, it's a fairly loaded shop there in Agart right there. If you decide you want to eventually go take those trap chests in Eblin, the Charm Claw means that you have 3 characters with that Mute Dagger in tow to be able to absolutely just push through any ogres there. So really great finds, to be honest.
I'm not sure when Flare picked up that longsword, but that's also that slight little boost to edge. The more boosts like that we see, the better that edge is going to be in the long run. So that's probably a nice find on that side as well.
Absolutely, and both runners now getting both dwarf axes from different locations, meaning that that cane is back road 100%, which is exactly what you want to see. And Fleury going to be knocking down a wall, very quickly, and these D-Lunars, much like on elvensorrow side, very much not long for the world.
Yeah, I don't think elvensorrow is very much long for this overworld too. Looks like I should say, as our runners are kind of doing a little rubber banding back and forth, I do want to mention, I know we've given the shout outs behind the scenes, we've given the shout outs to the runners, but hey, oh geez, my dog is trying to pull my cord away and oh heck, almost just broke loose. Anyway, everything's fine, nothing's on fire except the lava. So if you see this and go, hey, I want to help out, because like that Dathis is a really good commentator, but that Oscar doesn't know what the heck she's doing, which is true. Yeah, we'd love to have you on the restream team, or just plain simple, we'd love to have you in the Discord. Come join us in the Discord. There's really smart people that know a whole heckin' lot about the game, that always love teaching things, talking about things, and just having a good time. So click the link in the chat box on the right, and yeah, meet some really awesome friendos. And then join the restream team, because we always love having people like those of us on the dark side that are restreamers. We have cookies. We swear.
They are delicious. And additionally, you may think, oh man, maybe we should, it's like, maybe I don't think I'm going to be good enough to run these kind of flags. This is the great thing about this randomizer. You can make this as hard or as easy as you want. Do you want to have 5 Crystal Sword Cecils blowing up the world? Do you want to have nothing but your basic starting gear and cabins in the shop? You can go from there to anywhere in between. And that's the really nice thing. It'll let you go into higher levels of power, and it's just so many different things that that can get you going in that way. But we do have Fleury going underground, going to crack the 1 siren he's got an egg, so that is going to give his team a chunk of power. Porum is being the beneficiary of this as a white mage, pretty good. She's already got her berserk going, so overall, not the worst.
Yeah, I actually really like this play. I mean, yes, we all know Edge is most likely going to be getting or picking up more sirens later on through stealing them, but this is definitely going to help give Fleury his team a little bit extra oomph to get things done quickly. Just as long as that yellow dragon doesn't decide to completely heck up the party with those thunders. Thankfully, though, a little bit of vampire from the white mage, questionable, but awesome, and gets through that quite unscathed with a nice influx of levels.
Absolutely, and those levels, as you said, going to make it so this underground very, very easy. A good 5-6 levels each, very solid. elvensorrow picking up an elven bow. I'm not sure if Fleury found that in that location, but regardless, a lot of anti-mage gear. We haven't found our three, I guess, mage enemies in Rubicante in the Elements fight, Asura, or the Baron Guards. So there is a good amount of chance that we're going to find them somewhere where that'll be beneficial to find.
I was so hoping that bouncing character was one of those 3. I had this whole thing planned out, And then Dr. Luge said, I'm about to wreck this commentator's career and do some commentating on my own. Heck. But that Thunderclaw should be pretty nice on Fleury's side because Dr. Luge and Thunderclaws don't get along very well.
Yeah, all three forms of Luge, aside from Luge himself in the first form, are classified as machines, so they're going to do a truck of damage from these Thunderclaws.
What exactly is a quantity or that is equivalent of a truck of damage? I'm curious.
A truckload of damage is a large amount that means that you're not going to be happy to have it hit you or run over you in the morning. And Luge is definitely not going to be happy with any of those slices from Edge or that jump from Kane.
So between the Imperial system and the Superior system, it's 100% part of the Superior metric system, correct?
Absolutely.
And just at Oscar424 if you have issues with that. But yeah, we get to see Dr. Louis turn into what I like to call the robot chicken form because, oh no, that's the second phase. My bad. Now he just turns into, as I call him, book skeleton because it looks like he's a skeleton popping out of a book.
You know what? I've never seen it before, and now that you see it, I cannot unsee that. That is actually fantastic. I love it.
You're welcome.
Fleury, again, a couple of quick swings. We have Dr. Luggage down, and we are going to see who is occupying Golbez's spot today, whereas Elvensorrow is getting us to look at Sheila 1. I don't remember what Fleury got from this one.
Fleury got the Luca key, right? Yeah. Ooh,
well, this is going to answer with that we got full or quarter leg.
Absolutely. Services. We've got a full leg for you today.
So full leg here, quarter leg sitting in the Beigen spot. So that's not a bad find over there.
Well, that's one of your mages that you talked about. Now we just need a bearing key.
And you know those ice claws we found? They're going to be put some good use here. Though that glare in it is not going to really hurt. Yeah, the magic stat here is fairly low.
Yeah, this is normally Golbez's spot, and if the magic here was not low, heck, also, aww, we've got a harp check. Though I'm not 100% sure if we have audio, unfortunately, on Elvin's side. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we have had some technical issues with Elvensorrow's stream. It looks like everything has been okay so far. Hopefully we can get a little bit of audio, or hopefully Fleury does happen to give us some check there later on. Also, welcome to our Randomania 5 friends, who are in fact coming from yet another race.
Cinco.
Please no spoilers, and welcome to the Yang Hero Seed that we have in front of us, with a darkness crystal that you guys get to come and see.
Totally timed, apparently. Well done. So yeah, we do get to see Darkness Crystal. That does activate a lot of checks, particularly a new character and potentially new character. And we get to see who might be sitting at Cape Bahamut for us.
Indeed. My big thing is really that character check, because you kind of need somebody to replace that Sid that was just picked up in Dwarf Castle. But we are going to get a quick look here. I'm really excited to see what boss we have to fight beside Dark Elf changing into him.
Did you see that Thunderclaw pick? It's like Fleury and Elvin have been checking chests that you don't normally see people check. And both of them got paid with a Thunderclaw.
Yeah, it's really nice that we've seen pretty much the same loot back and forth. I think Elvensorrow's up a Blizzard Spear, and that's really about it. Blizzard Spear and Rune Axe from Eblin. But aside from that, both of them have found some very excellent items so far. But we will be quiet because it looks like audio is over there, and your boy is going to be singing us a tune.
Is this the marsh?
You would be correct.
How mad do you think chat's gonna get if we keep talking?
lot. It's okay. We might be here for a while.
We got extended music, y'all!
So we were hoping for some good music. We were hoping for an alt gauntlet. We were actually talking about this when we were talking about the blue robe. This is pretty much where you're going to want to keep it. So this is a time when it's kind of okay for us to talk over music. Normally we let it play, but that is the Frog Marsh song from Final Fantasy IX that we have going on in the background of this very, very interesting alt gauntlet.
And a very interesting third Kane in this seed. I didn't know our restreamer was such a fan of Kane.
Look, if he's pandering to me, I do super approve of it.
Yeah, but who does that?
A lot of people, oddly enough. There's a lot of people who like rolling vanilla. It's weird. I don't get it.
I mean, to be fair, your sprite is pretty cool.
Very true. So, Asuka, we call it the alt gauntlet. Why is it an alt gauntlet versus like anything else?
You're making me try to sound like a smart person. Nobody gets through that alive. Anywho, so the normal gauntlet in Final Fantasy IV is at Tribule, so we call it the Tribule Gauntlet. It's 6 fights of just riffraff, boring stuff, no big deal. Well, I believe it was Smapedy because lore. Back in the day said, you know what, that gets boring if you see it in like a moon thing and it's super easy. Dark Imp set cave value could be a little weird, but we'll deal with that later. Anywho, so what was added later on was something called the alternate gauntlet. And what that is it's a series of 5 fights that takes local riffraff from whatever area that gauntlet appears in and says, go fight all this heck and fluff. You always want to see alt gauntlet at the Ogopogo altar because that's just rude. You enjoy seeing the alt gauntlet at Zot 1 because unless you have something that can cast magic of some kind, you're kind of soft locked and it's kind of funny. But in this particular one, in the Twin Harp check, you get a lot of flying enemies, a lot of vampires. So Quake, not really effective here. But yeah, so alt gauntlet, a summary, the end.
10 out of 10 story. Glad I had you talk about it versus me. But yeah, we also see a little bit of cheeky steal there.
Oh,
Elvensorrow killed off
jeez,
everybody
not again.
but that one ogre and took some wine. I'm not going to talk about it. We already saw the vanilla, so that's good. More, we do have the vanilla Ogopogo as Fleury is finding out.
That is not an Ogopogo!
Or Octomom. We talk about different snakes.
That's not a snake!
Look,
That's...
it's a snake.
It's not a snake!
It's a multi-snake into one body.
If that's a snake, then Dr. Luge round 2 is a book skeleton.
Exactly. See, you get it. You understand me.
If I understood you, I would have to I'd have to answer for a lot of questions in my life.
Absolutely. So does everybody I play Final Fantasy XIV with. Regardless, though, Fleury has decided he doesn't want to make any more checks underground. He doesn't like what he sees or his options are. He's like, you know what? We are also going to see what this music check is. Going to see the alt gauntlet. Not a lot of runners like seeing that, so it's going to be interesting to see if he keeps in this fight.
I think it's one of those, if you're going all the way here to make this check, you're going to see it through, plain and simple. Because otherwise it's a lot of time lost. Excuse March. And Elvin is showing us that, I mean, it's a key item.
That's up to your 10 count, but yeah, the nicest thing is you can hope that there's an Avenger behind that pigtail. Aside from that, that's a bit of a big zonk right there, because that was a lot of time invested onto pretty much nothing.
I mean, it could be a white shirt.
This is very true. There are some good items behind there, but for this team, it's like you're looking for an Avenger, maybe a Masamune.
Defense sword?
Yeah, not really a whole lot you're excited for with what we've got.
Dathis.
Yes.
Dathis. You know what we haven't seen yet?
What have we not seen yet?
A lot of things, but particularly Derek Mist.
This is very true, and I would love elvensorrow to go to Zot 1 to go check if Derek Mist was there, but unfortunately not, whereas we are getting a reprise of Q's March from the extended version of this gauntlet, which I am always here for, and elvensorrow is going to be retracing Fleury's steps.
So I mean, there's not really a heckin' lot of checks left. I mean, we have Luca Key that they both faded. They have Keyless Tower. They have Zot One. Um, if they want to be bold and daring, Moon. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Luca, which would be my next check. I mean, it's a really easy way to look at the key item and look at the boss, then make your decision instead of like most other fights where it's look at the boss, then you get the key item, and then you either are smiling or not smiling. So I could probably see our runners going there next. What do you think?
So that is a really good point. Another thing that is very cheeky, and that I'm not sure if you know we have the ability to, we can actually knock out our first objective with everything that we have right now. So you were given the Hourglass 2 from Baron. You have Medusa arrows in your inventory. You have a Porum who can equip them. Now what you do, you go to Shield, you go to Cape Bahamut, you throw that Hourglass, they're stopped. That means you're going to land that Medusa 100%. You can just knock out that Cave Bahamut real quick.
See, and this is why, chat, Dathis is a smart person. Dathis knows smart person things. Oh, and to answer a question in chat, launching the Falcon is a fancy schmancy way of saying complete the hook route, because the ship that you get with the giant drill in front of it is the Falcon. It's like it's a lava bird, apparently.
Indeed, it is Edge's favorite ship, and we do have him in the party, so it's always nice to have. But again, there is a whole bunch. Yeah, to answer chat, the drill ship is named the Falcon. It's what Edge names it when he steals the enemy ship. But yeah, there is a couple of checks and one real cheeky way of taking out an objective real quick. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go. I would be really tempted to go do that Cave Bahamut check because it's a quick knockout, and especially with elvensorrow, getting his 5th character, going up there and checking to find that Duke Pain.
Well, hold that thought. You'll notice something about elvensorrow, though.
He's going to get it from here, though.
The Darkness Crystal?
Yeah, Darkness Crystal came from Dwarf.
Oh, I'm looking at 2 screens at once because I know how to multitask, which I really don't. Okay, yeah, fair. I'm gonna hush
Look,
up now.
there's too much crystal flora on the ground. Believe me, I understand. I forgot who we were for a second. Like, wait, why is Fleury still in Dwarf? Wait, hold on. No, that's music.
What game is this?
This is Final Fantasy IX, right? That's why that music's going on.
Oh yeah, that makes.
So
see,
Zelda,
so I'm happy.
We have Zidane, we have Amaranth, we have Freya, we have.
Well, no, Freya's downstairs.
Also true.
Oh, from our restreamer, it's the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy 14.
Wait, so you mean the MMORPG that comes with a free trial? No, I'm not going to do that meme. I'm not going to give that to you.
I am going to kick you out of this comms booth so heckin' fast.
Look, just because I play it and everyone else should do it as well. No, regardless, as we see, elvensorrow gets through that fight very quickly. Rubicante not even in trouble for this squad. He's going to be getting himself his Darkness Crystal, and the ogre is refusing to give up the goods.
He just looks so angry right there. But on the bright side, it's all ogre now, so.
Absolutely. Knock him out, gain some levels on characters. elvensorrow gets that Darkness Crystal. And again, we have a very interesting 3 choices of where our current progression, 3 easy choices of where our progression is. Also a Flame Clawed there in Baron. Oh, and Strength Rings? You buy a couple of those.
That's not Baron, that's Dwarf.
See, why do you let me out of the booth? Just put me back in the restream.
Why? Because we are contractually obligated to be let out of the restream dungeon, which, mind you, for those that don't know, that Damsian basement area, that's where the restreamers are kept, and we are allowed as a treat contracted time outside of the restream rooms.
So yeah, thankfully, hopefully we get to be let out for a little bit longer. Flurry is going back underground. Might be doing a keyless tower or a cheeky. Looks like Luca check. Yep, we got a Luca check going on there, and Elvensorrow is picking up the big whale. So we have new ground, and we have some ground being tread by Elvensorrow.
Now, my question is, okay, so you have Darkness Crystal. You're obviously going to take a look at cave value. You'll see the dimps. We're going to see if Elvin decides to take that on with the hourglass. You're 48 minutes in. There isn't a single colored button lit up, numbered colored button lit up. There's 2 boss fights that you're trying to figure out where they are. Do you take the time to peek the boss fights? There's no key items there, so anything else you're kind of worked on. But do you try to hit those 2 big ones, particularly King and Queen, because that is free in like all but one place in this game?
So that's a really tough choice. Knowledge is a big thing in this game, but how much time are you willing to be putting up to get said knowledge is really the big question. I would be very tempted to check a couple of spots on the moon, but in the same token, it's if your team is not ready for an actual fight, which this one kind of is not. Now would be a time where I'd be going cracking eggs, maybe even stealing some sirens, doing about 4 or 5 of them, just to make sure that you could handle some of these fights and then go through it. But again, it's very much a back and forth. I would be so tempted to take at least that fight in Cave Bahamut right now, just because it's a very cheeky check to be doing.
Would you say those moon checks would be very cheesy?
That is in fact where the Gouda checks are right now. Ooh, you don't hate to see that, though, from that Luca cave. That is a tower key. That opens up the entirety of the last of the underground checks, minus Pan 2. And yeah, throw in that Curse Ring on that Yang, and you start getting some damage going here.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly where Flurry is going to be heading next. Tower Groom, very easy check. Top tower could be a little... Oh, hi!
That
hi!
is a hard required.
Oh!
Sorry, partially required, not fully hard required right now.
Oh, no!
Oh, no! Whoa, okay, so... Huge shout out to Psychonaut right here. So first of all, let's just explain why that hit so hard. So the original boss that's there, Evil Wall, has an ability called Crush. It is magic damage. The way that hits is it's based upon its magic stats. So the magic there is not anything to be very kind about. You see Magus Sisters, you see Rubicante there, you are not going to have a good time. That is a full party holy that was just on the team for 1900 damage a pop. You do not survive that unless you have some way to mitigate that, and sorry, my friends, there is no holy mitigating armor in this game.
Now, here's the thing, though. There is the saving grace, because will a Star Veil reflect that off of somebody?
A Star Veil will reflect it. However,
you still have to do the rest of the fight.
That is a battle speed 6. You are going to be going into Wyvern standard time to make sure you get that off. And it looks like Elvensorrow is going to be doing the cheeky. Nice. I am so here for this. I am here for the power play. Get that hourglass off.
Now, here's the other thing with Wyvern casting wide and why this is hilarious. Now, it was found out before ZZ4 that Wyvern, in using certain things in certain areas, all but soft locks you, and also really nice getting what looks like 2 Star Veils. But okay, yeah, Flurry's doing the goods right now. We're getting a good amount of Star Veils off, but previously Wyvern would be allowed to cast Meteor, would be allowed to cast Nuke, and just wreck your party. So the Witchburn was actually tuned down a little bit, so the really heckin' big spells would not happen. That being said, White is still in the pool. And I would call this probably one of the rudest ones still in the pool, especially because it's a full party one.
So there's another one, and I'm very proud of myself rolling this. I'm going to toot my horn a little bit. There was a wyvern at top of tower, in that spot there, casting Blizzard. Now Blizzard is normally not very threatening because it's just a regular ice attack, but it's based off the HP of the location. So if you're not really ready for it, you're like, oh, Witchburn, whatever, not a big deal. And then you kind of get hit with about half what the damage here is, with about the same party levels. You're like, I'm sorry, what just happened here? It's a fight that you're just not expecting to be rough, and it's kind of entertaining.
One of my favorite ones, or Witchburns to this day, was Wyvern, required Wyvern at elements using Explode.
Oh, baby.
Single target Explode. I'm like, okay, I don't care if that particular character doesn't take or doesn't get XP. Thank you.
See, what's entertaining is when he does it on the hero.
Right. No, it was not the hero. It might have been Eddie.
One in Baron in the hit Meteo. Yeah, so we're talking about all the greatest hits going on here. So the reason why we're kind of talking about the different little Wyvern things here is because we are on two fights that are going to be taking a bit of time. Wyvern himself, especially on Wyvern Standard Time, is going to be very slow because there's a lot of HP in this spot that has to be chewed through in this location. Elvensorrow is doing these Dark Camps in the Cave Bahamut fight, which is a lot of damage that a small amount of physical fighter team has to get through. We'll be getting through in another couple of swings here, but then there's a chunk of HP that just both sides are going through. And yeah, this nuke, actually, if Edge was at Yang was at full HP there, he would have survived that. The HP of the party's starting to get nice and high.
Oh yeah, and this is what makes Wyvern even more terrifying in this spot. It's like, yeah, you were able to reflect the white and survive. Now you have to continue to do damage to Wyvern and finish it off, which thankfully Fleury was able to do, and he is able to get that tower key. Now, here's where it gets spicy. That Wyvern is not necessarily hard required. It's going to be very dependent on what is behind that tower key. If it's if it's legend, if it's adamant, if it's king queen, if it's hook, then guess what? We know that Elvin, whether he wants to or not, is going to have to tackle that very rude Wyvern. We'll find out.
This is very true. I'm excited for Fleury to just run that tower now, because you get that tower key, you have to cash it in. It's like, was this worth it? Because that's going to be burning a hole in the back of your head. But at the same token, we have objective 1 and we have objective 2 done. We have Wyvern and Cave Bahamut both done relatively the same time. This is really a good race we got going on here. 55 minutes in, first objectives. Settle in, Chad. We're going to be here for a bit.
Yeah, and kind of springboarding off what you were saying about checking that that tower right away, particularly the tower key. It's with these 1v1s, you're also in some way, shape, or form trying to meta your opponent. And Fleury, who's extremely seasoned, a very, very seasoned runner, sees that Wyvern, sees that full party white, is able to get through it, and his thought is, okay, did my opponent have problems with this fight? Did they see this and just said, nope, I'll take it later? Like, if that's the case, then making these tower checks right now could put Fleury ahead, especially if there's just massive value in Tower of Zot. Elvin, when he sees that as well, he'll probably be thinking the same thing. Like, how soon did my opponent take this tower? Unfortunately for Elvin, he is doing a keyless tower potentially, or he might just be looking for sirens right now. But like that tower, whether or not the tower key has value is going to be a bit of a game changer. We'll find out in the very near future.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think right now what Elvin's going to do is he may feel not quite behind, not quite ahead, but just like, again, neck and neck with Fleury, which I kind of agree they are. This is just like, I want to find some sirens. I want to get some levels before I go and do some of these other checks, because it's going to be a little rude. Nothing but white mage staves, really. That's kind of a little slap going around. Not checking. Oh, there's his first siren.
It took a little while, surprisingly. Ooh,
Yeah.
We are getting that tower key check right here now. And that is gonna be, I saw the 2 sprites and almost had a heart attack. Oh man.
Yeah, this would have been very entertaining if that was King Queen. However, this is the Baron guards. 2 quick bonks, 2 quick outs, and then I think he's going to go to the top and see who's at the tower. But this check here kind of really dictates what that Wyvern is worth. Is it worth putting the time into that fight and putting yourself into Wyvern standard time and going through it, or was it not really worth everything that you get out of it? If we get, say, half the forge, that could be good, and the other half from here, that means that Luca is going to be hard required.
And while Elvin is crying his way to sirens, and Fleury is causing property damage, which is one heck of an OSHA violation. Comments and thoughts in chat. What I mentioned, Fleury is very seasoned. What is Fleury seasoned with? I have a hard time not to do my obligatory joke of all the flavors in the world and you chose to be salty, but I don't think that's the case for Fleury, mostly because I'm not rolling this seed.
Wait, so if he's salty, if he's a salty Fleury, does it mean he's a League player? Come on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're salted with delusions of grandeur, you're probably a Titan main.
That is very true. Look, why you just gotta call me out like that? That's not cool.
Because, well, they put us together, Dathis.
This is very true, and there's no Warlock I would prefer on my fire team than yourself. Fleury is fighting himself a Dark Elf, something that's going to be pretty easy here. The magic stat is nice and low. I'd be surprised if we see some high double-digit numbers from these, but this is going to take a slog of a fight.
What I always love about the Dark Elf fight is it's like 2 fights in one. You start off with the Dark Elf, who's just like me sling spells and do stuff and things like that, and then all of a sudden goes me change and turns into Discount Pale Dim, who just punches with what does the dragon form punch with?
His head or his tail if you play the 3D version of the game.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. He rears back and he just slams you with his head or slams you with his tail. Additionally, by being a boss and transforming into the Dark Dragon, he loses the boss bit, and that means that he can be affected by weak and affected by stop. So he goes from maybe a possibly scary fight to an absolute pushover.
So in terms of things, now that unfortunately Dark Elf is changing, I always thought Dark Elf had a cherry on top of its head and its hair was an open jacket. So I just called him Rude Ice Cream. Like, just, yeah.
And he is, in fact, on top of the tower, so he's the cherry on top of the tower.
Oh, way to breathe some life into that one.
That's what I'm here for. We do have the Bacon slinging some swords and doing some damage to Dark Elf. Yeah, as we see, the hits here, they keep on coming. They don't do a whole lot of damage. The worst part is honestly the Dark Breath, which is still not even all that scary. We do have Elvensorrow getting through the first grind of Sirens, getting himself a Zeus Gauntlet, probably for this squad, the best thing you could find, minus a Dragoon Spear.
Yeah, agreed. And according to actually, quick question. Ooh, hi, Pan. We'll see how that pans out in the very near future. But question chat with the Cry ability. I think there is a limit. I am not a smart person, and I don't know that limit.
I'm going to agree with that. I do not know if there is, in fact, a limit. There are a couple of people who are in our chat who could answer that. One of them actually being our tracker, Scythe Marshal. He corrected me with that hidden morale stat that we like to call it. So it is very interesting to know if it does trigger that or not. We do also have a Bahamut for Rydia not appearing in this seed, while we have Bacon running down the tower.
Also, can we just appreciate the Bacon Walk?
Oh, the Bacon Walk, the Mini Walk, the Toad Walk, they're all very entertaining to watch. Every once in a while you see them.
He's a cute little piggy. But this is the tower key check. So here we get to find out, is that Wyvern hard required? Or is it just comedy and like a spoon or something?
So the nice thing is that top of tower did give the pan. So Sheila 2 on the table does mean that we might have another check at something there. That is a Baron keep. We have a long list of chains coming from
Ooh.
that. That is it's key upon key, and this is one heck of a keychain here. And Flurry's got the full belt of them.
Yeah, and that's you kind of have to follow that. And by kind of, I mean you really have to follow that. It's again, if you're that wyvern is a rude wyvern, and yeah, I mean to get through that and to just see this chain, and yeah, I can't think of anything other than you have almost no choice to follow it, and just hope that nothing else is can be found elsewhere.
Yeah, and the really interesting thing is, what is Sheila 2 going to hide? I think that's also going to dictate where Flurry goes and how much of a regret he's going to find with that wyvern. Again, getting an objective on the board always feels good, like just straight up. And knowing that Luca Cave is out of the way, again, very nice to have, but it's just the big fact of what else is coming from here and these other checks it's leading me to. It's really nice that he's double dipping and he only has to do the tower once. So you don't have to do the half tower special. But if Sheila 2 has any of the goods, that could kind of nullify this Luca check for him.
Yeah, an earth crystal here would be very interesting because, again, it's another check and it's another boss. Both Baron Key and Earth Crystal have two potential bosses that we don't know about. Or it could be a
That's
Zonk.
a Zonk. Yep. Well, so Top of Tower doesn't pay out for anything. To answer a question in chat, Silps have given a Charm Rod. So the flags that are actually going on with this tournament, normally we have 3 different places we like to put the key items. In the main locations, in the moon locations, and locations. For this tournament, we've actually turned off the summon locations. So Feymarch, Odin, Bahamut Cave, they are not going to give you any key items. But what we've done to augment that is we've given Cave Bahamut itself, the actual completing that area, is giving you an objective. So it's only partially required in the sense of a key item. It's an objective instead in that aspect.
Yeah, the only time the non-Bahamut checks are, like the boss spot non-Bahamut checks are required, is if, again, it either is a legit objective or the boss you need to find is there. And Forum was missing her body there for a second. I think she was trying to get a head up on everybody else.
You're just a little bit ahead of the game right now.
Well, it's rolling down the hill from here.
Look, we're just trying to be head and shoulders above everybody else so we can see over everything.
It's true.
However, these runners are still neck and neck. And no body is currently ahead.
But in the end, if you want to know who killed Mr. Body, I did. In the hall with the revolver.
So that's actually a little bit of a fun thing where if you manage to, on the same turn as you, or sorry, same frame as you leave, activate something else, it just doesn't load up the next sprite level. We are going to see our elements fight here. I don't know if we're going to see it for very long. This is going to be a very quick couple of hits from this edge, though.
Yeah, I'd say as soon as Flurry gets that Berserk off on edge, it's going to be a very elementary fight. Oh wow, not the one-hit kill. I'm kind of surprised.
No, this bot's got too much HP for 1,000 hit to go down. I believe Baigan has something in the neighborhood of about the 2,000 mark.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But it's actually, I think it's 3,000 divided in, but if you do too much of an overflow on the Rubicante side, you never see the second section. 4,200 as spoken by Direwolf in chat. So he did over half of that, and if you do just enough over, you knock out the second form, and you don't exactly tip over.
So let me get this straight. We have a Punch Mage hero who's sleeping in the party, but we just saw a Punch Mage hero sleeping in the Sylph Cave that bonked us, or we bonked to get the Baron Key, or at some point we got a Baron Key, and now we're seeing a Punch Mage awake, beating up on a Punch Mage that's sleeping.
Yeah, Yang said, "Come fight me."
But our Yang isn't fighting him.
No, because Yang is over on the other side fighting.
But But we're supposed to fight him.
And we're fighting him, just not with Yang.
But Yang is fighting us.
Exactly, and we're fighting him, just not with Yang. We do get that fight done real quick.
Kind of situation?
Almost a mirror room situation. We do have Orum's brother, though. That is someone I would say, I'm sorry, Sid, get out of the fight. But Fleury says, no, I'm happy with Berserkers. That's very interesting.
I mean, Sid is like the third best white mage that you could find, so... Well, Sid and a stack of Cure 3s.
Very true, and we do know that there are Cure 3s in the seed, very easily accessible. I believe that they were in Silvara, if I remember correctly. So there are available in the seed, but the really nice thing is what is in this barren trash can. This is going to dictate whether or not this Luki check was good or whether this was one heck of a wild goose chase.
Well, we still have the Odin check. Because if King Queen is at Odin, that still means this Baron is required.
Or Demist.
Or Demist. Ooh.
That's a rat tail. Oh, we can't even turn that into C.
The spice must flow.
Yeah, we can't even tell if that's required or not either, so that just gets to sit there. So you're Fleury right now. You've just gone through a whole whack of a chain, and you're given a non-terminal item in this rat tail, and you're like, what do I do with this? But you don't have the hook. How do you personally feel right now, Oscar? Like, you're in his shoes.
I'm personally glad my microphone's not on.
Fairly fair. Answer question in chat. We have not found Demist yet, although Fleury is taking a look here on the throne. That is more vanilla. That's a fight that's going to be quick. You're not going to do it, but that's a fight that with those Thunderclaws, not going to last long.
Shout out to our restreamer who's just laying it on thick for Dathus right now.
Look, I appreciate any and all flirting in the forms of vanilla, and I'm here for it.
Would that be a form of... What, I'm trying to find a good way to do flurry and flirting without it being obvious.
Well, it's a flurry of flirting with the vanilla checks that have come from Fleury's side.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, but elvensorrow is going to be very sorrowful when he finds out that Wyvern is waiting for him at the bottom here. Because, yeah, again, all party white is just heckin' rude.
Absolutely. I'm excited to watch this happen, and I'm really excited to get the runners' thoughts on what that all-party white is, what's going to happen. But yeah, Fleury is looking around. He's also looking for his sirens because, well, I mean, he knows that he's going on to the moon, and it's time to get some levels because those fights, not hard, but not something you really want to just, like, mess around with right now.
Hey, Dathus.
Hello.
I just had a thought, and I really like this thought.
Continue.
I think I know where Demist is.
Please tell me the thought of Demist is in Zot.
I'm fairly confident it might be in Zot. Or it could be on the moon, but I want it to be in Zot because I'm rude. But
hard to agree.
I mean, looking at what the key items we have here and the checks that have been made, it's really pushing you to Earth Crystal right now, isn't it?
Yeah, Earth Crystal and Hook are the only, those are the only two quote non-terminal items we have. And actually, chat's kind of pointing out we could have a hard required giant. It's been a minute since we've had one.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, the key item or the free key item flag is off. What that means is our good old friend Derek Mist has a key item, and it can have a key item in any spot in the game. So even if it's not normally, or like in this, it could be in a summon monster spot, and it'll give us a key item. But you know, if Derek Mist is somewhere kind of derpy, like Zot 1, that could be kind of funny and have a good amount of progression.
That is very true. Also, speaking of funny, Elvin has seen that Wyvern. We've all had that nice good laugh, and he's like, Wyvern 2, Runners 1. He does the exact same thing. I would be in this position. He's like, all right, you know what? You want to play that game? fine, give me about 5 minutes to crack some eggs. And I super agree with this, because those are 23 sirens that are going straight into some XP, to where we have a couple of people who can survive that wipe and then say, no, we're going to have this conversation something proper.
But here's the other interesting factoid. Look at the number of key items that Elven has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're not getting double XP here. I mean, do you think that, again, in your shoes, you don't know what that Baron or that tower key is going to have. But do you try to cut your losses and say, okay, from what I see, I have a lot of key items that I don't have. Maybe they're on the moon. Because K-Moon is still on. Or do you just bite the bullet and try to get through that really rude all-party wipe?
So I think with this here, it's, you're going, there's a good strong chance that there are some key items on the moon that you're going to have to go and find. We've kind of seen from Fleury that moon is going to be required in some aspect, unless Wyvern holding hook is in Zot. So that means that this grind here and going up to the moon and then coming for this Wyvern later, honestly, not even a bad call.
Dathus, you know what a bad call is?
Saying Wyvern instead of Demus?
Calling Demus Wyvern. It's okay. Back in
too many dragons.
Okay, that's a soapbox here. Final Fantasy IV and what they consider dragons. But
let's not talk about that.
It's okay, Dathus. Probably back in Zemus Zone when you thought that's what this was. Wyvern was probably Demus there.
Back in my day, see, that's when all the Zemus Zones really happened.
But this is the Zemus Zone.
The other Zemus Zone.
But what about the two before it?
Those don't matter. Except actually there was some really good times in those ones.
I just want to say, what area of the planet did you just go to for that?
I don't know. When I find out what area of the planet that voice is from, I'll let you know. But we do have a bit of dueling grinds, and while we have that happening, let's again give us a big shout out to not only chat for keeping me honest and keeping me off things, but as well as the rest of our restream team. We have again Scythe Marshall doing our tracking, Psychonaut rolling this really rude Wyvern, and just a good time all around. And also, again, Asuka who's keeping me straight up with keeping Wyvern and Demist and all these things proper when I'm not getting it right whatsoever.
But more importantly, Dathus is probably going to need to go to like a chiropractor or a masseuse for how badly his shoulders are hurting for the amount of carrying he's doing. So definitely give some love, likes, and follows to him and every other person on this team and every other person that not just Fleury and Elven, all these runners, like all 64 of these amazing people to get this far in the tournament is like heckin' cool. They're all, 13th seed, 58th seed, that doesn't matter. They're all really good people, and they're all really good runners too. So, definitely check out VODs, check out the races when they happen. There's so much good free enterprise going on. We do get a nice little vacation day tomorrow, but everything starts back up again on Tuesday. And for more information, definitely check out our Discord, like I mentioned before. Come and join us. We only bite on days that end in Y, so you're safe.
And additionally, if you want to catch up on all the runs that have been restreamed, we do have a YouTube channel that has all of these runs and more from some of our past previous events, such as the Highway to the Zemus Zone that I reference every so lovingly, as well as some other different gauntlets that we've had, such as the Lolly Ho League, the Football Gauntlet, and just so many other different tournaments we've had over the years, and again, even our community races. So there's a whole bunch of free enterprise. If you decide, hey, a race is not happening that day or I can't watch it, well, don't worry. We got you covered. We got VODs going everywhere. And speaking of everywhere, it looks like Fleury has enough levels. Looks at his tracker and says, let's go up to the moon.
Yeah, he's done with scrambling some eggs. And actually, just a quick point of note. Again, with Fleury having 10 key items versus elvensorrow's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can see the difference in the EXP right there.
9 key items, actually.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Pass
5,
doesn't
6,
count, remember?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, Fleury has 10. Darkness, Harp, Package, all 4 keys, Pan, Rat, Pink. I swear I can count to potato, Dathus.
I don't know why I was counting 9. I'm gonna blame the package. See, this is why I have you here. You keep me honest.
What can I say? We're a package deal.
I'm so okay with that. Whether we restream separately on the same time or you and I keep the commentary clean, we do keep ourselves balanced. This is great. But yeah, Fleury has to do way less of a grind, basically already at Zeroma's levels, and is like, well, we're going to start doing some fights here. And is putting that curse ring on Yang to anchor him down with agility and says, hey, here's some nice gloves for you, Edge. So he's going to do a heck of a lot of damage.
To answer your question, chat, the 10 out of 10 commentary, from Death's point of view, that would be a 9 out of 9 commentary.
No, she's right.
But anyway, we get to see, and we saw on Alvin's side how use the hourglass and kind of slowly chipped away at the 3 imps in a trench coat. Now we just get to see Fleury go burr after using the hourglass as well, but you can see what a difference levels make in this fight.
Oh yeah, this fight's gonna go a lot faster. It's gonna be the same thing though as when Elvin goes underground or goes into that Loopy cave.
Punch. That's a punch, yeah.
Oh, those punches still don't. They don't mess around, by the way. So we do have the hourglass going out. Those punches still hurting. Yeah, Elvensorrow looks like he's like, I'm kind of tired of this, and he's just going. And yeah, as I said, Medusa arrows, hourglass. I'm sorry, you're a free boss. That's unfortunate for you.
Yeah, it's a good thing that those hourglasses are in play, because Edge at that kind of critical HP, no one likes living on the edge. So good to see that fight done, and good to see Fleury getting his second objective done for the day.
Absolutely. It does take the lead in objectives, although Elvensorrow is going to be right behind. Look at that HP. He is going to be going and smacking around a Wyvern very shortly. Now, the question here is, we have all these levels. Do we just go, middle out like a lot of people like to do for all the key item checks? Or, since you just have all this power, do you just go top down? I'm a bigger fan of the top down approach, because you're basically knowing you're full clearing this moon. Unless you manage to face check King Queen Evelyn and get Adamant and Legend Sword in the Ribbon Room. If you're going to clear it right, in my eyes.
If the fact that we're looking for 3 key items, Adamant Rock, Legend Sword, Hook, I'd really want to go to the Ribbon Room. It's the most condensed check with the 1 boss fight, 2 key items, and Plague, or the Plague Altar right next to it for a 2nd boss and a 3rd key item. I'm kind of on team bottom up, but top down has been paying off in dividends this tournament, unfortunately. So yeah.
And see, that's another thing. We're being pushed to a game 3. Fleury has a bit of a lead, but again, Elvensorrow could make that up. A different approach on the moon could be all the difference. A lot of runners, generally, as we said, like to go the middle out. If you get the most dense amount of checks, but the out-of-the-way checks by going this top-down route, which Fleury's doing, can pay off. Because imagine if in a world where we get both King, Queen, Evelyn, and a Hook here, well, that's the last 2 objectives that we're going to get right here, which is going to be wonderful. But you're kind of playing not only yourself in the seed, but you're also metaing against your opponent. It's what is going to be this bold baby.
Okay, I love Fleury's quick pause there, and I'm totally asking him about that whenever we do the interview.
Look what the Demus dragged in. We have Derek. This is exciting. To answer a question in chat, though, yes, Fleury has checked everything that his key items allow him to on the Blue Planet. The only thing he needs is a hook to check that rat tail, which this Demus might find. But this is gonna be a bit of a fight. This is not a slow boss fight. This is a quick boss.
Yeah, and every 3 attacks from D-Mist, it turns into Mist, and if you hit it with a basic attack in the Mist form, you get Cold Mist, which, as you saw, it does adorable amounts of damage. But non-fight command abilities, like Kane's Jump in this case, Edge throwing something, it's not going to do damage, or like Yang's power, it's not going to do damage, but it's also not going to get the counter script. So Those are safe to do relatively, especially around that second or third punch. But yeah, that turning to mist does make it very artificially faster or slower of a fight than it needs to be.
Exactly, because it spends its turns in mist form. Afterwards, you're kind of sitting there waiting. You're really going to be more wanting to be sitting on either Yang or Kane while it's changing around, because the second it changes back, you want to be ready to go. Because then you get this, and we're kind of just sitting here, having a nice little relaxing chat while we stare into the mist.
But on the bright side, it is a good thing that Fleury did decide to go the top-down approach, because otherwise we would have missed this check.
And that, in fact, would have been a missed opportunity.
I love this so much. Also, the now get ready to fight, because I'm connecting everything in Final Fantasy IV lately to everything else. Every time I see that pop up, I immediately start thinking of the Blitzball cutscene from Final Fantasy X that starts off the game with the overworld.
Really good. Yeah, that's fair. I am a big fan of Blitzball myself, and it is probably the most fun in 10 that I've ever had.
Keep a crew.
You got to keep the vanilla Aurochs the entire time through, even though they're yeah. Interestingly enough, Keepa actually becomes like the best forward in the game. He has like the highest shot.
Keepa, I kid you not, is an Onion Knight. I will fight anyone that disagree with that, because once you get Keepa to like 90, Keepa becomes like God.
Yeah, you just have to suffer to get him through there, but it's worth it.
That's totally worth it. Wait, was there Blitzball in 10-2? I mean,
there is. So Blitzball in 10-2 is more like you're managing it, you're not playing it yourself, which, I mean, that's fine. It's an interesting check on there. I'm a bigger fan of Sphere Break myself in 10-2. That's a game I spent so many hours in.
Triple Triad or Riot?
Triple Triad in 8 or Riot.
Well, I know it's an 8, but still, Triple Triad.
It's better in 8 than anywhere else, in my opinion.
True. And also, Keepa was your initial. Keepa was a Keepa because Keepa was your initial goalkeeper.
So we see Elvensorrow taking that white, and his entire squad's like, I'm sorry, what did you just say to me? And is gonna have a good old time with this fight here.
Also, look at these two dragons now that Derek has turned to mist. Derek Mist is not a dragon! Because Final Fantasy IV doesn't know what a dragon is.
Actually,
even though the person is a freaking dragoon on the cover. The Sand Ruby could be interesting, though.
That is a Tella. You're not going for that, so
no.
that's really kind of a dead key item there. It's the demist is what we're really hoping for.
Now, I know a question came in chat is whether or not you save scum that demist right away. If that key item was like adamant, hook, or legend, I would be hard-pressed to not check that demist immediately.
100% agree there.
Sand Ruby, though, I'm staying on the moon. I want at least one other thing. One other item, key item, that would push me off of there.
So maybe you go and you save outside of the Crystal Sword altar, exit out, and then you save scum that demist? Because if the demist is something really good, then you just, oh, nope, go back up to where my checks are going to continue. Again, there's a whole bunch of like, do I do this now? Do I do it later? Just different checks like that. And we have Elvensorrow checks that Fleury has made before he goes and checks the moon himself.
And it does not look... I missed it. Was that a wyvern kill, or was that wyvern killing?
That was, in fact, a wyvern kill.
Yay! Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, Fleury is going to the middle now. He is going for concentration of key items, looks like.
Yeah, I don't hate this. I'm a big fan of going full top down. That Crystal Sword, getting it out of the way so I don't have to worry about it is a big thing for me. But with 2 bosses, 3 key items, it's really hard not to just go to the middle. And I agree with every thought that you want to do, from Ogopogo up, from Pale Dim down, or from Ribbon Room and Spear here. We'll do that fight in a hot minute. I agree with that reset, Fleury. That's not something you want to see right now.
Yeah, that's normally a relatively low HP spot, but Mom Bomb gets some special treatment in the form of bonus HP, and it's not fun. But meanwhile, we do get to see.
That's
do
a
it,
no
do it,
turtle.
do it.
I don't even know. See, so there was a seed that I got presented with the Kainazo at required hook route Rubicante.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know who's more rude. What I just said or what we just saw. Both are not fun.
Knowing the party you had, I would say the hook route, but honestly, I checked the Ogo spot for sure, but I wouldn't be afraid to do that Kanatsu. Oh, that's cute.
Or you could take
That's
this free
cute.
fight that they were
That
giving.
is so
to you.
cute. We have in one of the rudest spots in the game a required pushover of a fight.
This may be like arguably the best little pairing, where if you see a spot that likes to cast magic, you're like a boss that likes to cast magic, like, oh no, this is gonna hurt. But then you get a boss that's like, I'm gonna cast a couple of spells and go away, doing no damage whatsoever to you.
I actually know. I know things about this. I know something, Dathis.
Ooh, please, Oscar, enlighten myself and all of chat.
So the reason King Queen has borked amounts of tiny magic damage is because they have a magic stat of 1. It's the cutest little thing.
Womp.
It's like a mallet, the tiniest of magic boops. But that's why their magic is Garbo everywhere, because they have a natural magic stat of 1.
That's absolutely fantastic. I'm excited to see this being Hook. This
or
is adamant.
Use that's required.
So that is a hard required Ogo.
Okay.
Pogo.
Do you check Demist right now? Because I would.
You save, you check Demist.
You
if that's
save,
Legend Sword, you're good. Or Legend Sword or Hook and Rat Tail's the other half, you're good. Or you just come right back and you suffer through that turtle. I mean, either way, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I would absolutely be saving here and checking that hook.
Yeah, there's the exit. Yeah, Fleury is right on that mindset.
Yeah, I mean,
Ruben first. So the only reason why I wouldn't be going, I would still do the Kaidnaso fight first, because you have enough Thor Rages, you have enough lit damage that you just don't care, and your bruisers are going to just force their way through these fights. That I think of the two fights, you do Kaidnaso. If he doesn't have exactly Hook and Earth Crystal, or Legend Sword of some kind, like one of those 3 in that item, you kind of reset and say, nah, we'll just keep our objectives. But yeah, this is oof.
Yeah, this could be very interesting. I mean, if it's like, if this is Earth Crystal, do you just keep chasing the chain?
It possibly. Also, to answer a question in chat, yes, so Rat Tail can still be required, because Rat Tail could give the Legend Sword, so you still have a way of making that hook partially required, if not hard required, one way or the other. Wow, there it is.
That's okay. That is effectively go mode. But now the question is, who's on the hook route, and who, if anybody, would pose a problem for this team?
No one. The only person that would pose a problem would be Golbez, because that's more time. That's really the only thing that is a quote problem.
Yeah, because we've seen Val, we've seen the funny wyvern, we've seen Ogo, have we seen Baigen?
We have not seen Baigen.
Baigen can be cheeky, but we've seen
more
Wall,
annoying
we've seen
than rude.
Yeah, and with Z levels, yeah, Leviathan could be cute just because of the wave. But
agree there, yeah. And Fleury says, you know what? I don't care what's in the tails. I'm just going to go launch this hook. And I kind of, you know what? Or he could be safe. Never mind. I was going to say, maybe he's save scumming. That's what I would do. Save there and then go over and check the tails. Are they exactly Avenger and Legend Sword? If answer is yes, let's go. If answer is no, back to this hook route and launch the Falcon. But this is,
I would be so hard pressed not to check that rat tail just to avoid the hook route. But at the same time, again, it's at Z levels. It's like, it's a gamble versus I know I can get through this quickly, and I've got Oh, well, that kind of shop. Which looks like we
Yeah,
are
it's
about to have a bit of a fire sale going on here.
I mean, look at all the things he has. You don't need those black mage weapons. You don't need that silver staff. You don't need like half. Hey, look at those summons we've been holding on to for this Rydia. That's probably going to be on this hook route, as a matter of fact.
Well, but I thought the hook route gave a character.
Look, just because you don't consider her a character, she still exists.
I will start considering her a character when Eddie starts getting some heckin' respect.
Hey, I have a
Hashtag
whole lot of respect for Eddie. What character can solo Zeromus at level 1? Yes, at level 1.
I thought Eddie comes in at 5.
Level 5. Okay, look. Semantics.
You told me I had to keep you on the path.
But yes,
Also,
what other character can, at starting level, solo Zeromus that's not Fusoya?
I was about to say Fusoya.
He doesn't count. That's not a character. That's just like God mode in a character.
Are we talking like TG Sid levels of God mode?
Yes. In fact, 7 Fates Foretold from that man is him.
I mean, he does. Fu does have the hug of doom.
He does, as a matter of Hey, look, your boy.
Oh, hi, Eddie.
So there's not a character here. You're right. There is, in fact, a champion of the seed in playing out some wonderful music.
I was all set to move you to a different
I know you
restream
were.
room.
I know exactly what you were about to do.
I mean, I could just server meet you.
That is very true. Please don't.
Bye,
But yeah,
Eddie.
we do miss Edward. I do agree with Flurry. I would love to throw Edward in here, but he would be your anchor, and unfortunately, that is Yang's job. So no, we are just gonna get a whole lot of bruisers going in through here.
Now, okay, we saw who's at the Ruby spot, and that is Antlion. So Antlion has moved from its natural habitat on the moon to the hook route.
That's burrowing underground.
Yeah, I guess. It's weird when he's burrowing underground and he's towering above underground in a giant tower. But what is your thought of Antlion with this party? I mean, again, levels should be fine, but at the same time, Antlion gonna punch.
Antlion gonna punch, but this is also a fight or a team that just says, I don't care what Antlion won't do. You're gonna get like 3 or about 4 or 5 hit here.
That's true.
Also, a very good point is why he went hook route versus going and cashing in the other item, or going and cashing in the tails. This is a place where you're going to be getting your Bacchus wine. So yeah, this is pretty solid and a little bit of a double dip. You get an objective and you're guaranteed some drinks for your fighters.
Yeah, that's see, Dathis, you are a smart person. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that till I started seeing him open chests and like, oh right, there's bad ogres here he hasn't touched.
Also, just remember, chat, when you see that ogre, realize mage.
Basu Oga, as they are also known as the Berserk Ogres, which are mages for some reason.
Logic?
Look, they cast spells. Look, they're like Yang. They cast Paunch.
Well, what kind of, I don't think they have claws, though.
No, they have fists. So Paunch. And Yang casts Paunch without claws.
But Yang has claws equipped.
But he doesn't have to have claws equipped to cast Paunch.
But that Yang has claws equipped, so you can't cast Paunch.
He casts Paunch with bonus effect of fists and claws.
He only gets to do that when he's Sunglasses Yang.
This is true. That is, in fact, my favorite sprite, with sunglasses where he just looks cool all the time.
Right?
Speaking of cool, Elvensorrow, hopefully not going to be eating a couple of breath counters, does find this D-Mist and is going through the slog of a fight, whereas Flurry has stolen just enough Bacchus wines to be getting through and going to be going through. Gets a tiara, too, for that
nice.
Why don't we just give all the nice things to this fight? Let's see. Silence that. The only thing that'd be better is if that Pinktail has a white shirt, and then Porum can actually survive things with her small amount of HP.
Do we have a white shirt, or am I dealing with seed bleed right now?
No, I was saying if we had found one from that pink tail, but no, we have not found a white tail.
Mm.
Sorry, a white shirt anywhere. White tail, pink tail.
Rat tail, pink tail.
Yeah.
Or white shirt, pink tail.
Yeah, you get me.
When will then be now?
Forever.
Oh my goodness.
So remember what I said is the only thing that would be really annoying down here? You want to get through this? You gotta wait.
This is...
I will gladly take the Death Witch hat, and every once in a while I like to call a good one. I will say I did try to call my shot on how fast the scene was going to get done. I'm about 10 minutes ago.
With this, would you call this a divine comedy?
Yeah. That's how I've gotten through life.
Yeah, I could see you in one of those circles.
I mean, we could go on for that, but let's not go for too long. We do have some demolishes. Porum does not get paralyzed, does get knocked down by demolish. That's kind of rude. But we have characters that are just going to look at Golbez and be like, what are you doing? Get out of here.
Yeah, he's got those big and bad shoulder pads, and that's cute and overcompensation thing, because yeah, this magic spot's not very strong. It's a very strong physical spot, and it's a fast spot, but the magic here is adorable, and the 8,000 HP, roughly 8,000 HP, is going to go by pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And this is a very fast spot, too, so you see these spells slinging very, very quickly. But a couple of swings, not a big deal. We're going to get the Y very quickly in this location. A lot of bosses can be very rude here. Thankfully, these levels don't generally care.
Yeah, and just like you said, the Y, and now the burning question. We swagging this? I would swag this.
So elvensorrow actually not taking this King Queen Eblin. Also, yes, 100% swag. Gonna be checking this Demus check. I really hope he goes for this rat tail afterwards, and that is in fact the legend sword. But that means he does still have to go back up for the King Queen Eblin, which is unfortunate.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because yeah, that is a very hard required Ogopogo spot.
Yeah, that's like there's no like arguing whether it's requiredness, but that hook's just a little unfortunate. He might hopefully run this hook route, but it's him dipping the moon a little bit early is a little unfortunate. With Fleury very strongly out in front right now.
Yeah, I could see him taking this hook route right away, just on account of he doesn't know where King Queen is, and unfortunately we know, and it's painful because it was so close. But taking the hook route, again, that's two bosses, you don't know who they are. So Elvin's hoping to double dip on the hook, when in fact the true double dip was the Ogopogo altar.
I am really curious to see what is going to be here, and we are going to get new grounds in this hook check. These rat tail checks, if he goes there. So it could be beneficial for later, but it is going to be kind of the nail in the coffin for elvensorrow's run here, I think, because he still has to go back up to the moon, go fight those bosses, come back down, do this hook route if he doesn't do it right now. So he's still a couple of minutes behind, and Fleury is finishing up. We're getting our pink tail, just a moonveil. I say just a moonveil, but
against
still very
Antlion.
nice.
That's gonna, if the fight wasn't free as it was, it'll be free then. And
Rat tail, though, is the other half. Oh man, so that Luca cave technically also semi-hard required.
And here's the thing. And here's what makes this so painful. If Elvin would have done the Ogo spot, he would have Adamant and King Queen.
And we would have a race.
And he would not have to do the hook route. Oh, that's
But now
brutal.
he's going to do this hook route, launch the Falcon, and then he's going to have to go back up to Moon, which is really unfortunate. Like, it's really interesting that we have two semi-hard required locations in this seed.
Ooh, that is so heartbreaking.
But you know what? Big shout outs to Fleury for getting his crystal, getting there. And also big shout outs to Elvensorrow. Honestly, going as hard as he has, the 58th seed, the underdog in this match. But in all honesty, this race here, they were almost in lockstep for a good half the seed. And the latter half has just been Elvin playing a little bit behind because he's did some other checks, bounced a little harder. But he's been keeping up, honestly, with a very, very good showing. Like, this is an impressive race. I honestly don't see much more of a difference between maybe 10 minutes at the very end of it, if there is even that much of a difference. But that's honestly just going to be the time going from the moon and back. That's really about it.
And the thing is, like, yes, they're seeded going into the brackets of round of 64 with Fleury at 13, Elvin at 58th. And honestly, the seeds, whether it's first or 64th, they don't really tell the full tale of the tape. What I tell everybody is every single person that plays for Enterprise in a competitive standpoint or stance or whatever the heck is beatable. Everyone has their weakness, everyone has their bad days. Rando gonna rando. So I mean, just like Elvin keeping in lockstep with Fleury, that's not surprising, even though there's such a gap in the seeds. I mean, there could be days when the first seed will fall to the 64th seed because that's just what happens. Just to be in the top 64, you know these runners are good. And in this case, Elvin honestly got randoed. They made a check that did not pan out in the way that Elvin hoped. But yeah, like we said, if the Ogre Altar would have been checked, this would be terrifyingly close right now. So big shout outs to just Elvin and Fleury for that matter, just really rocking things.
Absolutely. Also, question in chat: is there some magic number to hit with Yang? Also answered in chat. The thing is, you need to be level 51, 52-ish with Yang to hit 28 agility, which is where you really, really want your agility to be if you cannot get 1 agility. Or where you can get yourself to RA1 with the rest of your squad. So if he gets to that level with Yang, absolutely perfect, which I think that's where he's sitting. But right now, we have Elvin in his fight with the Golbez before he gets to fight the Antlion. Asuka, I know it's a little late here. Everyone's seeing some Z's out in chat. Are we having a nap, or is there like siesta time? Or I know Golbez is blue and the flags are blue. Is that what they're doing?
No naps, only Zool.
That's what the Z is about. It's about Zool,
right? Everyone does the nap shtick. It's like, no, let's do something else. But yeah, something, but.
Yeah, I guess, we'll just glaze over it, because what we're really paying attention to is Elvin. So Zeromus, we're not putting him anywhere random. Big Bang hits no matter where. Have you ever seen a Big Bang from Witchburn? That's always fun. But we have something in the neighborhood of about 600-ish sprites. I know it's a lot lower than that, but I like overinflating the numbers, done by Board AI, Scholar Kitty, and there's a bunch from everywhere else that we've seen. So we randomized not only the song that Edward played, as we got to hear during that lovely alt gauntlet, we're also going to see what this crystal is going to transform to. Whose butts are we going to kick tonight?
Wouldn't it be Z that's transforming and not the crystal itself? Asking the real questions here.
Very true.
Yeah. That'd be funny if it was Crystal Mist.
Swolbez.
Okay, can we talk about this double Golbez on screen?
I mean, absolutely we can. 100% we can talk about double Golbez. Golbez to the left of me, Golbez on the right. Here we are, stuck in commentary with you.
It's raining men.
And we also have the one who had to make sure this got in here and named it to Fanservice. Scholar Kitty done this. This is from his After Years appearance. For those of you who have not played the continuation of these series, Final Fantasy IV had another set of the Interlude and After Years done in the complete collection, best in the PSP. Fantastic set of games. Highly suggest doing it. And this is what he looks like, and he is in fact fan service. The man's gorgeous. I can't even deny that.
And you know what would make this better?
What's that?
Playable Golbez at Rivers Town.
I've heard rumors that if you keep talking about it, it's never gonna happen.
It's one of those things, you say it in the mirror 3 times, and Rivers like just hops out of the mirror and bonks you with the newspaper. It's like it's like Candyman, except like Rivers Man.
We do not have prayable Golbez, but we do have payable Golbez. So Golbez does come out and kill bosses for you every once in a while, which is a very good time. We do have a set of wacky flags that allows you to. We would talk about the Zeromus fight, but with the amount of HP that Fleury has here and the way he's kind of just knocking out this damage, this is going to be a clinical. We're going to beat you down, and there's not really a whole lot you can do about it with. All these spells slinging, these berserks being drunk by the brawlers, and Cure 4 coming out from Porum. There is really not much to do aside from dance on elvensorrow's side.
I mean, you can definitely tell that Fleury is serving the fans quite a bit of a very straightforward Z fight against fan service. Fan service. Words are hard.
And honestly, there's not something you would want to see as the last round of 64 fight, getting it topped off with fan service. We are giving fan service all that we can. This race, honestly wonderful. My co-commentator, an absolute delight. Psychonaut giving us one heck of a seed for a 150-ish finish, I'm going to guess. Probably 149 and change. And then we have Scythe Marshal keeping us honest with the key items and making sure we do have the 10 track, even though I said it was 9. I'm going to say it's 9 until the race is done. But yeah. So, question from chat, why is this called fan service? So, Golbez in this form is a very attractive character. And he's given fan service to the fans, because there's occasional characters that are just there for fan service. That's why, and because Scalacutie put this into the pool, and her opinion is that he is fan service, and that's the name.
But if you're talking about someone that provides great service from a Final Fantasy IV standpoint, give some like loves and follows to Dathus, who decided to neglect himself in those shoutouts. Dathus is pretty heckin' amazing and really, really fun to watch. Play Free Enterprise, play D&D. Try to think that Titans and Hunters are the superior class in Destiny when they're not. But
I just work
Dathus is good people. Sometimes, usually, partially. Just don't make them count anything.
This is very true. If I have to count more than apparently 8, things go awry. Might also be a little bit of stuff going on there. We are getting some fights going on through here. He is looking, probably thinking, hey, I raised the whale. What's going on? Or I raised the falcon. Why am I not getting my third? Oh, no.
Yeah, and Elvin is realizing, time to go back to the moon. Hopefully, Elvin picks up where he left off and checks that Pogo spot first. Because that could theoretically be an oops 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that. I think he's going to see this King Queen Evelyn. He's going to take that. Honestly, I kind of hope there's a swag walk down. I mean, you just don't save, you take the fight. Because I'm not sure if there's going to be a way to keep going down. If there's going to be a way, to save and go. The levels he's got shouldn't be a problem. Same thing as where Fleury is sitting. Although Fleury does have a bit of a problem. That Porum hit the ground. There's some Cure 3s, but yeah.
Still, I mean, some of the HP is a little sketchy right now, but I'm not too worried just yet. But it does look like it's still going pretty straightforward for him.
Yeah, the only real hard thing would be if that nuke had gone off on Porum. That would have been a little unfortunate, but going on the big bag of HP that is Yang, not really a problem there, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that 4,500 HP is just funny to see sometimes.
It's ridiculous. The funny thing is, he doesn't really get more than 6,000 naturally. It's just something wrong with the coding, which again, wrong, I say. Something that the way the coding works. But yeah, this fight is honestly not long for the world. That Cure 3 on Kane definitely meaning that he's going to survive pretty much whatever else comes through. I'm waiting for the tip in the Meteo because they've been throwing out heckin'
I'm
amounts
waiting
of
for the
damage.
lack of Meteo because that'd be kind of fun.
That would be entertaining, but I don't think they're putting out that much. Like together, they're running near Crystal Sword Cecil levels of damage, but I think we're still going to see a Meteo somewhere.
Oh. I would have a sad then.
It'd be very nice to not see rocks, but I strongly suggest to see one after this punch.
Yeah, most likely.
Or is that a shake? Wow, we're not even in Meteo phase yet.
What? Well, hold on. I mean, well, we're probably close, but not
You know what?
quite
Yeah.
there.
Oh, there's the
Oh,
rock.
boo! Boo! Fan service. You have also shout out to Queen Porum, the Dodger of Meteos and Queen of the Z fight.
So let us talk. We can talk a lot about Porum, about the way she dodges things. She's been like an underrated white mage that people think, oh, she's like a discount Rosa.
Or
But
we could
speaking of
just see the
things that
shake.
aren't discounts, we have shaking. Fan service is like, you know what? My people need me. So he goes and he leaves. Whereas we have Fleury taking first place, a grand total time 1:52:52, 1 hour, 52 minutes, 52 seconds, going on to the round of 32s. Those GGs out in chat. Keep getting them going as we are in fact joined by our first place finisher and the last finisher in this bracket round of 64. GG's, my friend.
Thank you. We have a lot to talk about.
What we in fact do, and I am so glad that I'm gonna let Asuka take the lead on that.
So you thought you could dodge us, Flurry?
And I definitely got pieces of both of you in that seed.
Okay.
I certainly did.
You like your vanilla?
I need to like that wyvern. Yeah, so first off, full party white from Wyvern. Are you how scale of 1 to 10, how glad was your microphone turned off?
Oh, that was fine. That was definitely of the things that were tilting me this seed. That was definitely low. Because now, had I not had a curse ring, then you know, we might have had some words. But now I was like, well, I guess it's a good thing I took that gauntlet at Harp and got some Bacchus wine, but not enough for the Z fight. So I have to get. Yeah, things. That wasn't the big thing that I regret of this seed. I actually thought I handled that one pretty well.
So here's a good question I have. You're about to finish out the seed. Let's just go from the end because I'm laughing at this so hard. I called that Golbez, by the way. How happy were you to see that right before that antlion?
Very upset because it made me think, is there some way I could have gotten out of this? And as I'm thinking that, I realized that I so absolutely tunnel visioned into, okay, get hook, do go mode, not realizing that, hey, I could spend 30 seconds to turn in that rat tail just in case. I had dismissed it because when I got rat tail, I was like, rat tail needs hook. Hook gets me go mode, so I'm putting that outside my head. And that
what's
was
the other half of
and-
the Gomo?
And I know you know what it is now.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it from my opponent, you're gonna see the spoiler log. That was definitely not a good decision. So yeah, spending 30 seconds to possibly save what ended up being probably 5 to 6 minutes would have been a good idea. That was probably my biggest mistake of this seed. I thought I was in okay shape because I had stumbled into a perfect moon route, but that was, yeah, this game definitely had a way of saying, oh, this is the decision you make. Let's make it the most painful possible version of that decision.
I just find it funny that anytime I've been on a restream team with you being one of the runners, you sound more and more exasperated in the interviews.
I mean, this if that was Rosa instead of Porum, it is so much more stress-free. But man, the things I gotta do, because as much as I love Porum, you gotta take precautions against it, against her dying to a big bang. So That was why I went back and stole Bacchus. I felt I needed 6. Ended up going with 5. That's why I mean, I think you get yanked to 28 agility regardless, but yeah, it was. We still made it. Still made it. That's what matters.
It's like it like got over the finish line in one-ish piece. It's close enough. But my question I have to ask. So you see Demist and that brief pause. What brought that pause about, dear Fleury?
So let me tell you a story.
Ooh, good
Okay,
story time.
Yes. Get your
Once
free
upon a
popcorn.
time, I was chilling in general chat as I tend to do inside races, and I'm watching a runner that I think we are all familiar with. Go into a moon fight. I believe this was the ribbon room, and found Demus there. Decided to reset, go grab a trap chest, reset, go to Demist, reset again, grab that chest, and then go back in Demist. Full tilt. So I didn't want to do that, even though that was an aggravating fight. So pause. I was like, all right, take a second or two. You know this is annoying. You know what you have to do. Just deal with it. So yeah, I didn't want to go full tilt like I have seen other runners do, or at least one particular runner. And yeah, that was the reasoning for the pause, to kind of calm myself and not flip out over a Moon Demist, which can be aggravating.
I love it. I just love story time with Fleury in general.
I have a few.
I've noticed.
There's a lot of good stories that have come up from this community, revolving around Demist, oddly enough, half the time.
By the way, shout outs to I think he's watching in general. Yes, he is. Shout outs to Infinius, who goes into all my streams knowing, I dish it, but I also make sure that I take it too. Is the first one to make sure to meme me every time the package is even remotely in play. And as soon as we got the package and you get the edge, I'm like, all right, thanks, package. You did pretty good. And then I see the star, and I was like, are we on good terms now? And it was pale in. And no, we are still barely talking.
Look, he gave you the edge, which was like part of the key to not needing that Tella in the bed in this seed.
Oh, is that who was at the Sand Ruby?
That was who was at the Sand Ruby.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I got to Sand Ruby really late, so yeah, Edge was definitely the engine that ran that seed, and was thankful for that. But man, like, I'd like to hit on a package boss once. I'd like to.
I'm trying not to burst out laughing here, because it's Infinius that memes on it. Infinius, don't make me meme on you with the package check. I will stare at you with Kanatsu all day on that one. Platonically.
Oh, speaking of Kanatsu, that Kanatsu at the D-Lunar spot, how excited were you to want to maybe go through that?
I mean, with Curse Ring, Heroine Robe, and Edge being guaranteed the first 2 turns, I think I would have been okay. I was actually kind of hoping for harder moon fights that would have been required going into this race. I felt like that might have been a little more advantageous to me if there are fights that require, some demanding some amount of experience. That is definitely the advantage I have in this matchup. So I saw what bosses were left, and I was like, oh, there's some gems that can be down here. Let's kind of hope that I have to go through these to get the hook. That ended up not being the case. But yeah, that was some kind of moon, and that Kainazo was definitely not a fun time if I would have had to go through it.
All right, so with that, you've punched your ticket into the round of 32. What are your thoughts moving on? I don't know your opponent off the top of my head because memorizing things is hard. But are you gonna kind of stick to the path, like the Baka school of practicing for free enterprise in the form of Guilty Gear Strive, or are you gonna like do something else for your next opponent.
I should not mute my microphone. I will definitely go back and study the 2 matches from Pushwall, who is my next opponent, quite a bit. But more or less, it's going to be get the New York Jet decisions out of my game because I certainly tend to make those, and I made them today, and I made them in game 2, and if I play clean, as far as a foot race goes, I'm up there with anybody whose name does not start with X. Otherwise, if I start doing the 4 interceptions in 1/2, then yeah, that's where I start to get myself in trouble. So it's more just clean up my own game, but I will definitely go back and study the other 2 matches, see what I can get out of them.
Yeah, that's all I've got. How about you, Mr. Vanilla?
No, we had our taste of vanilla. We had Fleury a little bit. So you mentioned that there was a little bit of tilt on your side. What was the first part of the seed that kind of put you in that tilted mindset? Because again, tilt comes from a whole bunch of different areas, and you played very fantastically through it.
Harp, definitely Harp. How many times this tournament have we seen Gauntlet at Harp? It's like Gomez in the cannon room.
Not enough, yeah.
Not enough? Oh, sure. Not enough as long as I'm not
That
playing.
reaction is exactly what I wanted from you.
Fleury, don't make me roll a required Gauntlet at Ogo. Just for you.
I mean,
everyone loves that though.
I could. You've done worse to me.
I know I have.
Multiple times. So
it's because I care, Fleury.
I'm sure it's fun to watch. Like, my questionable reaching decision making is certainly interesting to catch on stream and try to figure out what is this dude thinking. So hey, as long as everybody's getting a kick out of it.
How many ways is he cursing the restreamer right now?
That was really the main one. I felt pretty good that my opponent was going to take it. The other thing was realizing that I could have checked the rat tail for the legend sword, and that was good thing I'm on restream and don't have a microphone. That certainly is there.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I've got then. And you know what, Fleury, you always put up a heck of a show. Always fantastic to watch you race, and I'm excited to see you in the round of 32.
Thanks. Happy to be there. I appreciate you guys all taking the time and watch me butt fumble around an entire set, and we'll see what interesting ways I can come up with in the round of 32. And yeah, I appreciate. Go ahead.
I was like, it's called failing up for a reason.
Yeah, hey. But yeah, well, I appreciate all the time y'all are putting into this. Scythe Marshall and Psychonaut, I appreciate the volunteer time, and I'll try to get on commentary, because as you noticed, I tend to ramble. But yeah.
So do we, but I mean, people like it.
I'll do comms with you, Fleury.
Hey, it'd be fun.
Yay. But yeah, GG's.
Alright, y'all have a good night. I'm going to go report to my roasting down in General 1.
Have fun.
Wonderful.
Though speaking of roasting, it does look like Elvin has roasted fan service. I'm never gonna say that right. With an official time of 2 hours and 5 minutes flat. Send some GGs out Elvin's way. Unfortunately, Elvin is, traveling, doing a lot of road traveling, and doesn't have a mic set up, so we aren't able to do an interview with him tonight, but I just want to say, Elvin, when you're watching this, you did a heck of a race. Really well done all across the board. The Z fight was super clean, super straightforward. And it's unfortunate that we don't get to see you continue on with the tournament, but the races that we've seen, well done. Legitimately well done.
Exactly, to push Fleury, a player of Fleury's caliber to game 3, and to even be like that hot in his heels throughout the entirety of the seed, that is a very solidly well done. So yeah, round of 30 of 64 completed. Round of 64 starting this Tuesday. I am super excited, Asuka. And since it's late, but we still have some excitement going. Where are we going to send these lovely fans that we have with us right now?
We are going to be sending everybody over to our favorite little doctor, Dr. Cossack, just doing some general ZZ4 practice. So, the obligatory statement, y'all, if you spoil this, we will, we have a very particular set of skills, mostly in the form of rolling newspapers, and we will bonk you. And it's painful.
I know, I've gotten hit a
yeah.
lot.
Oh, I get hit by Siren all the time. But that's because you and I try to solo restream stuff. But no spoils. Just have fun, watch Dr. Cossack do some awesome things. But one last shout out to our wonderful runners, Fleury14, elvensorrow, our wonderful restreamer Psychonaut, the amazing tracker Scythe Marshall, and the absolute treat to do comms with, that one person.
Oh yeah, Oscar, you absolutely. We have to make sure we shout you out.
Dathis! Give like, loves, and follows to all of them because they are really heckin' amazing. Yeah.
And again, as I said, Oscar as well. Again, big shout outs, big proponent of the Pink Puff League, getting new players in. But yeah, no spoilers. Give Cossack some love. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful night.